as the Nuggets find themselves a half game behind the Golden State Warriors. Warriors took care of business last night in Minnesota against the T-Wolves. We'll have Aaron Rath join us. Who's Aaron Rath? Well, he's the voice of the UNC Bears women's team. As
not Lady Bears.
No, I know. I said UNC Bears.
No, I'm just saying
team.
they're not the Lady Bears. So again, yes, UNC Bears, at least women's basketball. They will have a big contest coming up at least tomorrow, 6:30 over there at the AA against the Wyoming Cowgirls. Just to give a little background for UNC, these two teams have met in the first round of the WNIT going back to 2013, where the Bears of UNC did get the victory over the Wyoming Cowgirls. So it'd be interesting to see what happens coming up tomorrow. Again, first round of the WNIT happening over there in Laramie at the AA, the Dome of Doom, where the Wyoming Cowgirls take on the UNC Bears. At least women's basketball coming up again. 6:30 is tap time there in Laramie.
So they come into the contest. They are 21-10 overall. I'm looking at obviously the conference that they're in. They're a little weaker, but you look at their preseason.
Weak enough where they have quality wins throughout the Big Sky, where the team that was at least top dog in the Big Sky, the Idaho Lady Vandals, and they got 2 victories on the road up in Moscow and down there in Greeley. So taking care of business. Had a rough go of it, though, in the Big Sky tournament. They did get the first-round victory over Southern Utah, but then tripped up against Eastern Washington by at least falling by 2 points in the second round of the Big Sky tournament.
And I'm not dissing on it, but I'm just saying, I look at their preseason schedule. Colorado a loss, LSU a loss. They lost to Air Force, the Lady Falcons. They did beat CSU Lady Rams. Lady Rams were not that good this year. And they got clobbered by BYU. So I'm just looking at some of their preseason contests.
It's a little hectic, but again, 21-10 overall, 15-5 in the Big Sky Conference.
I would put the whole West ahead of it, though, ahead of this conference.
Oh, we'll see. Hopefully the Wyoming Cowgirls don't play down to UNC, or at least try to think that it's going to be easy to go about it of taking care of the Bears coming up tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. Again, these two have met before in the WNIT first round, where it was advantage of UNC as they got it done on the road in 2013 in Laramie. So they've been there, did it, done it, even though looking at their overall record, at least series record against at least the Wyoming Cowgirls, they are 7-17, 4-11 in Laramie. So it's going to be a bit of a hill to climb to take care of business against the Wyoming Cowgirls tomorrow. Yeah,
and again with the Cowgirls, this is the ball club that really, again, as we talked to Joe Legursky, January was just, I guess that was the schedule, the part of the schedule that really made the Cowgirls season. That showed the grit of the Cowgirl team. And then, of course, February got a little lighter for them as they picked up more wins. And then, of course, they were tournament ready heading into the Mo West tournament. Again, Boise State, give the Lady Broncos their due. They are a good outfit. That's why they're in the NCAA tournament. The Cowgirls, along with Fresno State and New Mexico, are going to battle their way through the WNIT. And again, those are three deserving teams that got into the WNIT.
Well, I think deserving for the Wyoming Cowgirls to make a case for potentially making it in the NCAA tournament, even though Boise State
22-8.
Yeah, but again, they did have a good. It is a team. It is a program that does have historical value. Where it is at least under Joe Legursky, does have prominence. It does have a. It is synonymous, at least synonymous across NCAA Division I basketball of just being a winning program behind Joe Legursky. So, but either way, though, for the Wyoming Cowgirls, looking to repeat history, win the WNIT again as they did back in 2007 when they defeated Wisconsin in the championship game there in Laramie, Wyoming. So we'll see what happens. Again, first round of action comes up starting tomorrow night there at the AA with the Wyoming Cowgirls. So we got WNIT action coming up. NIT action has been underway on the men's side of things. Also, too, the first 4 has been underway as well in the NCAA tournament, as it will continue on with 2 more games to figure out who will be the 16th seed to get their brains beat out and who will be the 11th seed to at least possibly compete, where, again, I have faith that St. John's or Arizona State, one of those two teams,
will beat Buffalo.
Could, yeah.
I think they will beat Buffalo.
Ah,
they will beat the Bison.
We'll see. Again, I don't know too much about Buffalo, but I do have more confidence. Whether it doesn't matter if it's Arizona State or St. John's. I like that matchup, or at least that upset right there for the 11-6 seed to go either way. Same with Belmont and Temple. I saw a little bit about that contest. Belmont will move on. It was fun. It was. Again, is it a disadvantage for these teams to get underway? Granted, you will have at least a day rest to get underway, take care of things.
I think it's the dumbest thing that the NCAA has ever done. They put eight bubble teams in, and they're giving 4 bubble teams actually. They're giving these guys a chance to play their way in.
And granted, we've seen teams, again, for instance, we saw years ago, if not last year, if I remember correctly, of Boise State coming in as an 11 seed out of the Mountain West, had to do the play-in contest to decide to be that 11 seed, and then did get that 6 seed upset, again, kind of moved on, made it to the at least second round, didn't make it that Sweet 16, but we have seen those 11 seeds that can take advantage of that early.
Did you watch any of these play-in games last night?
Like I said, I saw the Belmont Temple one. Yeah, I saw highlights of the Prairie Dickinson one, but it's like, who cares? Because right now, for those two, deciding where Dickinson's going to move on to take on Gonzaga, right now, I think for the Bulldogs, they're a 27-point favorite right now in that first-round contest.
You know, here's the one thing that you don't do when you're in the NCAA tournament. You don't go by the odds. Vegas makes a pile of money right now. Again, they'll instill Gonzaga as a 27 point.
The 16 seed has won one time, and that was last year.
I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm just saying a 27-point favorite. Yeah, the score might be 80-43.
I think it could be. That's more than likely what it is, though, when you see those 1 versus 16
But also, too,
matches.
in a situation like that, if Gonzaga gets up on top by about 30 or so, they're going to take the foot off the pedal. They're going to rest their guys, and that's why a lot of these points are never conducive. And again, like I said, if you are a gambler and you go up to Vegas and you say, hey, I got Gonzaga, and here's the point spreads, they may not cover the point. And you have to go look at them throughout the course of the year.
I don't care about the point spread at this point. It's just something that was interesting to bring up. Of they are, at least of every matchup going into round 1 coming up tomorrow, as that's when everything will start for the NCAA men's side of things. They are the highest, at least it is the largest margin, or at least kind of point differential in any matchup in round number 1. And again, that includes Duke versus potentially of North Carolina Central or North Dakota State, Virginia and Gardner-Webb, and also to the other 1 versus 16 matchup of North Carolina and Iona. So it is the largest point spread. So you just wonder, again, we talked about it yesterday. We can talk briefly about it today, but these first 4 games, is it really necessary? Is it really necessary?
No.
I think of what the NCAA bracket has without the first 4 contests. Sure, it's great for those smaller schools, and I understand it. If Wyoming was in that situation, hey, that's great. But also, too, I don't see any benefit.
It's great for North Dakota State. Again,
I get it for those smaller schools.
They get a little payday.
I get it for those smaller schools, and again, for teams or programs that don't make it to the NCAA tournament, or if it is something special, like, again, for North Dakota State, that doesn't see a whole lot of tournament bursts, and this is something special to them in that, at least, fan base up there. But in the at least in the scheme of things, is it really necessary?
Well, let me ask you this question. If you are a 16 seed, North Carolina Central, North Dakota State, Fairleigh Dickinson, Prairie View, you get a little payday in this play-in game. Okay, your institution makes.
I get it's all about the money.
It makes money,
and it's money too. Also, to
let
the
me ask you this:
wouldn't
it be better to be in the NIT?
I would think so. If you're a 16 seed, you are, again, you are enough to make it into the NCAA tournament, but you would potentially be, at least they see you as a better seed in the NIT, where you have better odds.
You're taking a 50-50 shot of just getting into the tournament. It's a 50-50 shot.
That's true.
So if you lose, yes, you get a little bit of money. The school gets, and the league gets a little bit of money. But if you were in the NIT, which pays secondary money, and you may have that opportunity to host.
And the big question, though, is, and again, we can use the University of Wyoming, and even with the Wyoming Cowgirls, in program history for the Cowgirls, they only made 1 NCAA tournament appearance, and again, they exited out early. They were the 11th seed and lost to Pittsburgh. But it is a question right now of, for these smaller schools, for, again, North Dakota State, for Prairie View, for North Carolina Central, blah, 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 they don't get that whole lot of opportunity like the big dogs of Duke, North Carolina, Virginia, blah, 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 where it's commonplace and you're expected to make that NCAA tournament. But is it something where, or is the NCAA getting that 16 seed or those higher seeds berth, is it more special than making it down to the NIT where you have a chance to win a championship there, where you probably have a better shot at winning a championship there? Again, these 16 seeds, one has ever won, and it was last year. It was, again, a fluke almost.
You're
where,
usually getting your brains beat out.
Yeah, you're losing by at least 20 points.
Again, I don't know what the numbers are, and again, I would have to bring those up. But just by being into the tournament, your institution and your conference gets a hell of a payday. One game. And if you progress through, that's just added money. Again, I take you back.
I'm just.
No, wait a minute.
I don't care about the money and all that stuff.
The institutions take care of the money.
I get that. And again, hey, guess what? Colleges make money all sorts of ways, whether it's tuition, blah, blah, blah. They're going to make money. But for me as a fan, though, of that program, of that school, what means more to you, especially for these schools that don't have that opportunity? Again, in my position, and I'll use for where I'm at least kind of a true fan as much as kind of fringe. I'll go with my, at least, university, the University of Idaho, where, again, the Vandals, they're very rare to make it to the NCAA tournament. But would I rather see them make it to the NCAA tournament as a 16 seed where they have no shot, or have a chance in the NIT where you could still raise a banner and say, hey, you're NIT champions? It's kind of the same thing with the Wyoming Cowgirls, where you made it to the WNIT and you have a WNIT championship banner proudly hanging there in the AA of saying, yes, you are a champion of a tournament. I would say personally, again, for a fandom of these schools, it's tough, but I would rather see my team compete where they have a shot to potentially win. Let's be honest. North Dakota State is not going to be your national champion.
All right, well, let's just use North Dakota State. First off, you can't make any flight plans because you have to go to Dayton first. Okay. So, and if you happen to win, then you're hopping a plane to where? You're going to take on Duke on the east.
Okay. I'm not sure where the east, at least.
All right. Well, anyway, the point is, you got one set of plans into Dayton, and then you're going to have to.
I would assume that they stay in Dayton on the east side, but then you have the other two that are on the west bracket. So, and again, where the west is being played, I think the west is being played in Salt Lake City, if I am correct on that one. But again, you still have to make those travel plans. You have to assume it's kind of like what we saw with LCCC of, well, you can't, you got to book it in case. You got to still spend that money in case you do make it at least further on. You do, and again, hotels and all that stuff can get you, at least there are workarounds to get that refunds of saying, well,
So the winner of North Dakota and North Carolina Central, they got to go to Columbia, South Carolina. That's where they would have to face Duke. So again, you're in limbo. You got your play-in game, and then then you got to book a flight into South Carolina.
But again, that's all refundable.
Let me ask you this question.
Let's be honest.
Do you book it for tomorrow night only, knowing that you're going to get clobbered by Duke? Or do you buy the pass and stick around and watch?
There's probably some workaround of how they work this thing. I wouldn't doubt the NCAA has some way of at least setting up designated spots of, let's just take care of it. And again, just in case for these teams, all right, you're here. This is where you're going to be at for the majority of the time. I wouldn't doubt they have a plan, and this is something that's been in effect for however many years. I think the NCAA would have, as a governing body, have this down of, okay, here's where you're going to be at just in case. Here's your plane tickets. Here's your travel, blah, blah, blah. Here's all this figured out for you because, again, you are competing in our NCAA-sponsored tournament. So that I don't think is a big issue. Again, I think the issue right now, or at least the big question is, for these smaller schools that have crept in here as the 16, 15 seeds or have to play in this play-in game, is it worth it? Would you rather – is this special enough for those programs, yes, where, hey, cool, we are that 16 seed and you do have a shot. It's very rare. It happens, though. It happened one time after how many of these games have been played between 1 and 16 seeds. It's very rare. But there is a shot, though, however. But is it something where you'd rather see your team in this situation to get their brains beat out by Duke, by Virginia, be underdogs, heavy underdogs, like 27 points under the Zags there of Gonzaga? It's a big question. Or would you rather see this team have a chance, have a legitimate shot at potentially winning another championship that they have a good odds on in the NIT? That right now is the question for me. And again, as a fan, or at least been around those programs, again, with the University of Idaho, I would say I'd rather see the Vandals compete in the NIT than rather be a 16 seed where it's just one and done and bye-bye.
Yeah, because, all you're saying to everybody is that
they have a better shot in the NIT where they can win.
We were granted by the NCAA the 64th best team in the nation. So you go into the NIT, and if you win that, then you're the 69th best team in the nation, if you win it.
Yeah, but you have a better shot, though, where you're competing against other teams.
Again, this is all about money. We're not stupid here. We know what the NCAA is doing. We know.
And again, the first four, obviously, with advertisements and towards these TV deals that they've done, obviously that is the reason why we have this first four, as much as it is garbage, and it should not exist. But either way, though, yes, it is all about the money at this point. But is it really that special, or is it something that we need to put on showcase for these 16 seeds who, all intents and purposes, don't really have a shot? For the 11 seeds, absolutely. I get that sort of.
But why?
The 11 seeds can do it.
If they are an 11th seed, I mean, they're playing in for the 11th seed. That means that they've had a pretty decent season.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm.
Would it make more sense if you had 15 seeds compete then? Or how about how about a group? How about for the first four, it's all 16 seeds of deciding who is going to be those bubble seeds, right? Would that make more sense of where you had 16 versus 16, or at least 4 games of all 16 seeds to figure out where they're
play in to be the 16th seed?
That to me makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean these 11 seeds are
it's kind of disrespect to Belmont.
Yeah, because if Arizona State loses, for example, I mean they lose to St. John's, and both programs are quality programs. Yeah. They both should be in the tournament. But, you got Belmont and Temple. And again, too, it's like you're kind of making these 4 teams kind of, hey, you got to beat each other's brains out to get into the tournament.
Yeah.
And that's stupid.
And it would make sense of where you'd have Gardner-Webb and also to Iona. They would have to compete for a 16 seed. You could probably take some of these 15s.
They want individual tournaments, though. That's how they get in.
Again, of Abilene Christensen, you could probably move them down into one of these 16 playing games, along with also to maybe Colgate, Bradley, Montana as well. These are 15 seeds that should be competing for the 16. Where you instead, how about in place? Put in Belmont, Temple, Arizona State, St. John's. Mm-hmm. Don't they deserve to automatically be in instead of having to fight for their lives?
Their records indicate they should be there. Yeah. And how they did in their various tournaments.
It's definitely not a perfect system, and I think if they want to do the first...
They messed with the system, and they screwed it up even more. And I think it's an unfair, especially to those that are going to be 11 seeds.
Yeah.
I think it's unfair to them, because they should be in the tournament.
Well, absolutely.
But, again, how come this is what gets me. North Dakota State wins tonight, all right? They qualify as a 16 seed. They make money by getting into the tournament, all right? Arizona State loses to St. John's. They get nothing. They get a little.
They get a chunk.
They get a paycheck for being there, and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
congrats. You didn't even compete on day one. You were at least... I don't even consider the first 4 round. It's not even a round. It's just playing games. You're not even part of the.
It's a pigtail.
You're not even part of the NCAA tournament. You're vying to get into it, and it is a little bit disrespectful to those 11 seeds that do have to compete for that. And it is clearly a flawed system by the NCAA. But the interesting thing, though, is there hasn't been really outcry about this. So. Yeah. And from these institutions, I'm surprised that we have not heard from these institutions, again, losing institutions that have to sit on out of, again, where they have to play in this first 4 contests, of that they're not up in arms going, well, didn't we deserve it? Why do we have to compete in this? Why couldn't you pick any other 11 seed? Why is it that Montana out of the Big Sky gets an automatic bid? Granted, they took care of business, but at least kind of bad example. But you look at some of the other 15 seeds, it's hey, we're not better than Iona. We don't get any respect than Iona. Abilene Christensen,
Georgia State,
Colgate, again, all those other lower seeds that are automatically in.
Yeah,
it's an interesting situation. I think it's something that the NCAA
don't.
Well, they're not going to do anything about it.
They'll screw it up even more.
Because again, nothing has been an outcry. No institution has come up and said anything, and they're going to keep it.
Well,
as
think
is.
about how many teams there are that are playing collegiate basketball. About 300.
Well, I think well over 300.
All right, and look at what we have here. We've got 68 teams playing here.
Because, again, you have well over 300 where you're competing, at least in the men's side of thing. You have an NCAA tournament. You have an NIT
32
tournament.
teams.
You have a CIT and a CBI. You have four tournaments.
And basically, you got about 150, well, you got about 140 teams playing postseason basketball.
It's kind of on the same vein of what we have with the college.
Half of the colleges are playing postseason.
Well, let's be honest. It's the same vein of our argument with college football and the bowl system of, do we really need a Potato Bowl? Do we really need some of these lower New Mexico Bowl? Do we need some of these just trash bowls at this point?
Do we need the participation tournament? Yeah.
I think that's where we're at right now. It is right now. It is kind of souring things. It doesn't seem all that special. Again, I get it. I get it for the smaller schools. I get it for the Wyomings of the world. I get it for these smaller schools that don't.
Well, let's go back to that though. Let's go back to the CBI and CITs, which Wyoming's been a part of both,
and they did win.
Yeah, and they won the CBI. They didn't draw flies.
Yeah, but again,
they lost.
They won it and they got a banner. But in my opinion,
they lost. They were the 120th best team in the nation.
Yeah, it was a point of who cares? Yeah. Who cares? Why?
And again, I mean,
they paid money to win.
They paid to win it, and they lost money in the process.
Yeah.
So I mean, how stupid is that?
Just to say you participated in postseason, you got a banner.
Should be the NCAA. And it should be the NIT.
Absolutely.
To me, those are the two. Again, what you're doing is you're watering down the NIT, which again, that is your NIT used to be the big tournament. It was bigger than the NCAA.
Yeah.
But you've kind of watered down the NIT. It's like, well, if I don't make it here, I can go to the CBI and go to the CIT. Who cares? It should be NCAA. NIT, that's it.
But obviously,
top 100 teams get to participate.
And obviously, with all these TV deals and advertisements, obviously that's why we do have these terrible bowl games, these terrible postseason at least tournaments.
And it shows when they pan to the crowds at most of these bowl games, and there's only a third of the stadium full.
Yeah,
maybe half. And you're expecting. See, here's the deal too. When you go to those football bowl games, your institution is expected to buy X amount of tickets to get your payday.
Mm-hmm.
And then the city that's hosting the bowl, they're expected to come up with the rest of those tickets. Well, if you have two unattractive teams going there, the city's not going to show up. And then
we saw that 2 years ago.
Here it is on TV, and it's awful.
I'm just saying, we saw that 2 years ago in Boise with Wyoming versus Central Michigan. There was no one there. No one cared. Granted, weather did play a little bit of a factor, but fans did trek on out to Boise, Idaho. It's not hard to get out to Boise, Idaho, but no one showed up for it because it was, who cares?
Yeah.
It is right now for collegiate, at least in Division I for the NCAA. It does have that feeling where teams are getting disrespected. Again, these 11-seed playing games, why? Why did we need this? It's unfair. And also, too, it's getting watered down of why.
Exactly.
Why are we doing this?
I agree.
But again, the end result, or at least the big answer for all of it is the NCAA is getting money. These schools are getting money as well.
And the networks are paying piles of cash.
That's why we have
garbage.
That's why we have the border war on a Friday during high school football around this area to bring that, because thank you to the TV deal that CBS Sports Net is. There wasn't a whole lot of fans down there in Fort Collins for that game, but I mean, at least it was on TV.
Wow,
whoop-de-doo.
Exciting.
Either way,
we're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back with more on Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Why do we work all hours of the night? Head towards challenges instead of turning away. And work together to solve the toughest problems so you can enjoy the little things and all the big moments life has to offer. Tri-State and High West Energy. Brighter, stronger, better together.
You love Lennox difference, from collision repair to minor nicks and dents. Certified quality you can trust. Nobody cares about your car more than us. Lennox Auto Body, we do what we say. We fix it right and get you on your way. No shortcuts, no compromise. Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue and the Detail Center at 617 East Pershing Boulevard, Cheyenne.
Did you know that in rural areas of Laramie County, electricity is reliable and affordable because of High West Energy? Based in Pine Bluffs, High West Energy is an electric co-op owned by the 10,000 customers we serve, and that includes F.U. Warren Air Force Base and 20 subdivisions around Cheyenne. For more than 75 years, High West has been proud to play a part in the steady growth and economic development of this region, while also contributing to local nonprofits, charities, and civic organizations.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College, you can discover the best version of yourself. It's time to take on new challenges, to enrich your life, and to create the future you deserve. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
You love the Lennox difference, from collision repair to minor nicks and dents. Certified quality you can trust. Nobody cares about your car more than us. Lennox Auto Body, we do what we say. We fix it right and get you on your way. No shortcuts, no compromise. Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue and the Detail Center at 617 East Pershing Boulevard, Cheyenne.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 52, winds out of the northwest at 10 to 15. And for tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 26. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 52. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 28.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
It's interesting for the first round, 8 locations, well, including Dayton, but 8 locations for the first round: Columbia, South Carolina, San Jose, California, Jacksonville, Florida, Des Moines, Iowa, or Des Moines, however you want to say it. No, it's actually Des Moines. Salt Lake City, Hartford, Connecticut, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and let me see where the other location is. 8 locations. And then when you move on to the Sweet 16, Nick, you go to D.C. That would be the Capital One Arena, Louisville, Kentucky, Kansas City, Missouri. Are they going to the Pond? They're going to Anaheim? Is that
I guess so.
The Honda Center? And then, of course, the Final Four will meet up in Minneapolis.
Yay.
So there you go.
Cool.
That's and then basketball's toast.
Well, at least on the collegiate side, we still have NBA that goes on all the way into at least June or so with the NBA Finals. So,
speaking of college basketball, I want to mention this too. So mark this down in your calendar.
Yeah.
This is coming up here in June, the 24th through the 27th, and this is for boys and girls ages 6 through 13. Correct me if I'm wrong, both the men and women of LCCC getting together on this one?
There you go.
So,
including both head coaches, Brian Ortmeyer, Jason Ficca, and also 2 players, both teams, again, of the Lady Golden Eagles and Golden Eagles, respectively, helping out with this venture coming up this summer.
So a 4-day basketball camp.
As they host every year.
And it's only $125 at the LCCC gym. So the junior camp ages 6 through 9 will introduce the fundamental skills of basketball in the areas of offense and defense. The intermediate camp, ages 10 through 13, is designed to develop the basic skills of the game and introduce more advanced team and individual skills. All camp activities will be conducted by the men's and women's coaching staff at LCCC. As Nick mentioned, both Coach Ficka and Coach Ortmeyer, the Golden Eagles men's and women's basketball players will also be there to assist. So, again, that'll be coming up on the 24th of June through the 27th, 9 a.m. till 12 noon each day. The cost, $125. And for more info and questions, matter of fact, you can call 778-1373 or email men's basketball coach Jason Ficka at jficka@lccc.wy.edu or Brian Ortmeyer at B-Ort. He doesn't have Meyer at the end, really. Brian, B-Ort, MEIE at lccc.wy.edu. Just get a hold of Ficka. It's easier.
Or just go to golccc.com for more information. And, again, where you'll find the summer camp coming up, at least brought to you by LCCC, again, both men and women.
Are there too many letters in Ortmeyer to put on the characters?
At LCCC. I don't know how they set up emails over there.
All right.
But also, too, again, that's coming up at least in June. Coming up.
But you want to mark that down on your calendar because it'll be here before you know it.
Well, something that also, too, will be here before you know it, coming up at least in April 5th, here in town at the Shine Ice and Event Center. We will see another, at least it is a brand new promotion, at least regarding Bare Knuckle Brawl. It will be BYB Extreme. They will host their first ever pay-per-view called Brawl for It All. April 5th, it will get underway at 8 o'clock, at least getting my times right. Yes, 8 o'clock here at the Shine Ice and Event Center pay-per-view fight that will feature 10 bare-knuckle fights, 5 3-minute rounds, and then 2 MMA fights that will be 3 5-minute rounds. Again, this will be live at the Ice and Event Center coming up at April 5th. Regarding this, at least this upcoming bare-knuckle brawling pay-per-view, at least here in the Cap City, we are giving away 2 pairs of tickets, which we will give away here live on the show coming up Friday, as we will have a special guest with us, at least one of the star fighters who will be competing in this pay-per-view. At least we'll announce that on Friday of who will be joining us. But, again, a very special guest will be joining us as well to discuss his career and also to this upcoming event coming up on April 5th. So, at least regarding our giveaway, the ticket giveaway, again, 2 pairs of tickets for this Friday, we will at least ask you to head on over to our Facebook page, Wyoming Sports Talk Today, by simply searching just that, or it's WYO Sports Talk is just the / after Facebook.com, or also, too, I posted a little link to it on my Twitter site at NickWYO Sports. So, again, all we ask you is to like, comment, and share on that post, and that will be your 3 entries for a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see this pay-per-view event, where I will also too say that tickets you will have to pick up at will call the day of the pay-per-view.
And we will have the tickets. So the thing I've got a problem with, Nick, and you and me have had this discussion off air.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd group now that's coming in for bare knuckles.
Well, we've had 4 in total in the state of Wyoming. 3 here in Cheyenne.
Okay, so again,
this is the 3rd.
3rd different group.
Well,
but the 3rd different promotion, I should say.
I'm saying there's been 4 in total, 3 here in Cheyenne and 1 up in Casper.
And again, everybody that bought a ticket and got the pay-per-view got what was delivered. They got
everything went on. Again,
but
the Casper event, the Cheyenne event.
It seems like these organizations are a little flighty right now. And
we had the controversy with the Casper. We didn't get a chance to discuss afterwards what happened with that.
We also had the problem down here, too.
Yeah, well, we've had a few problems down here with a few organizations, but for the one that just recently happened up in November, this was the last, at least, major event that happened here in Wyoming up in Casper at the Casper Event Center with the World Bare Knuckle Fighting Federation. Again, that was under President Bass Rutten, who we did discuss with. We had him on the show a few times, discuss around that event. That had an issue where, yes, it went all in full. Again, production, pay-per-view all happened, and it was all fine and dandy. Again, fights were excellent up there. But at least we learned that the promotion, or at least promoter and owner of that, at least federation, was not Bass Rutten. He has now kind of alienated him and separated himself.
He basically said,
he said, "I don't want this part because this is this is completely terrible.
This is not me.
This is terrible what happened, and we learned from that federation that they had troubles, or at least they were not paying their fighters. They were not paying entities that helped out with that. And understanding, at least of doing my research and looking up at what happened, understanding that the promoter of that, at least federation, is now looking at jail time because of this, due to the fact that, again, not paying the fighters and just kind of trying to flee away with monies instead of just owning up and being a business owner. So we've had that. We've had the Cheyenne entity where it already had controversy coming into it,
right.
With that, where they have left the state of Wyoming. They still continue to do fights. I do believe they do it out in Biloxi, Mississippi right now, but they have kind of left at least the Cheyenne, Wyoming ranks, but they had controversy coming in with their promoter having a shady past out of Philly, out of Philadelphia, where background was not the prettiest.
And this is what bothers me.
Where he had issues paying fighters and everything else too.
I understand this. You know, the bare knuckle folks, again, they're a select group. I don't know how many bare knuckle fighters there are in the U.S., but if you have this group up in Casper getting hosed out of paychecks, and you had problems with the group down here in Cheyenne. So, you know, here's another bare-knuckle organization. Do these fighters who got screwed head over to this organization? I mean, you know, you'd hate to be a bare-knuckle fighter and hoping to get a paycheck.
And here's the other thing as well, too, is we do have an MMA commission here in the state of Wyoming that should be overseeing all this. And so far, we've had a few entities that have been shady, who've done unfair practices, who have at least kind of tucked tail and tried to run away from the state of Wyoming and not pay fighters, not pay entities, and just kind of do their own thing, kind of in Wild Wild West style. Well, where's the MMA commission at this point in time? Why are we not having oversight to where, again, at this point in time, nothing against BYB Extreme. We don't know what to expect, and we will talk with their promoter coming up the week of the fight, or at least of the pay-per-view. We'll get him in studio and talk with us about what is going to be different this time around with this organization, and hopefully it is a better organization that can handle its finances and treat its fighters very well. And we'll see what happens post that pay-per-view. But it also, too, does fall along the line with the MMA commission right now in the state of Wyoming that is overseeing this. And again, we've had the commissioner here in studio before talking about all this. I have reached out to him multiple times, but he has turned down requests to do interview, host a lot of these, at least, bare-knuckle events. But it's a point in time where they need to step up and they need to put up some sort of legislation, or they need to be an oversight body to make sure that practices, or at least, again, everything is fair. Whether it is bringing in this entity, making sure they're paying everything, make sure they got medical all taken care of for their fighters. They got everything is 100% clean and clear. It's all fair. And again, it does not affect anyone.
I want to see, if anything, I want to see the promoter's checkbook, and I want to make sure that he's got money in that checkbook to pay his fighters as promised.
Yeah. And again, we'll get all that information the week of that pay-per-view when we get that promoter in studio with us to get that information.
You know, and I don't want
what is going to be different this time.
And I don't want that promoter going, well, it all depends on ticket sales and this, that.
I would hope not.
You know, I would hope he has actual backing before he even puts this fight on.
Yes.
And you can't depend. You would think putting the fight on is one thing, because you're going to have to pay rent to the Ice and Event Center, which means the city. No,
I'm just saying,
the city's smart, they're taking their money up front.
We're talking the city,
smart.
But yeah, if they are. That's a big question. But again, yes, you will have to do a chunk out to the city of Cheyenne with the Cheyenne Ice and Event Center. Again, you have to dish out monies to at least depends on who is going to be at least working there as well too, with electronics, DJs, blah blah blah. There's multiple at least working avenues to put on a pay-per-view event. So again, you have employees, you have fighters, you have medical.
You and me asked to do something.
Yeah, we were asked to do PA announcing.
I ain't gonna do anything.
Did not want to associate with them. Unfortunately, again, did turn down that request. It was not from them, however, it was from the Cheyenne Ice and Event Center that did request us to do that, but we did deny it.
To the Ice and Event Center, I don't do nothing for free. Remember that, pal.
I don't think they were offering it to do it for free, but I'm not sure about that.
I'm sure they'd want to do it.
I didn't want to associate it, but either way, though, again, it will be happening April 5th. And again, hopefully, this is the organization that can turn around and put a good taste in the mouth, at least here in the state of Wyoming.
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be. I'll do the interview and I'm going to let people know that this is coming up and go check it out because, again, the event goes on. I'm not going to argue that fact. I'm just saying
it's certainly an event that
these promoters right now are shadier than Bob Arum and Don King. Everybody used to gripe and moan about boxing, how corrupt it was. You can't tell me that this isn't corrupt.
Yeah.
Guys aren't getting paid. What's wrong with that picture?
Well, again,
what's wrong with that picture? These guys are getting the snot kicked out of them. I don't care how many rounds they go.
Well, and their promise as well, too, of, hey, you're going to get a gate, you're going to get all this monies and blah, 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 and treatment and all this stuff, and they're not. And we saw that happen with the Federation. Again, what happened right now with the promoter, he is facing jail time. I do believe, at least right now, currently looking at 1 year in jail due to what happened up there in Casper of just kind of being neglectful of his organization. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. I will promote it because, again, it is nice that it is putting Cheyenne on the map, or, again, it does bring a global audience because, again, this is reaching the globe, again, via pay-per-view on Fight TV. It does put City of Cheyenne on the map for, as we talk with the MMA commissioner, hey, it would potentially bring outside looks into, okay,
didn't we have this
can
before?
Put this on.
Didn't we have a pay-per-view here in Cheyenne? Didn't we have a pay-per-view up in Casper?
Yeah.
All of these events are pay-per-view. So there's got to be monies derived from that. Now, again, how many eyes and how many dollars are actually being spent on the pay-per-view, don't know.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that they're not making piles of money off the pay-per-view. That would be my opinion. Because as you set up at the event center, wasn't too bad of a crowd.
It wasn't the greatest.
Well, no, but you had half the event center closed off.
Yeah, you had it curtained off.
So that's about 3,700 seats.
And again, depending on prices out there, again, it was not a great crowd. It was not a sellout.
600, 700?
I don't know.
Say
I'm not going to put a number on it. I don't know. It was not, again, you take half, and I'd probably say 3/4 full, and there you got your number.
So you got about 20.
It was not a great crowd, though, however. But I'm just saying, we've seen sellouts, though, for the other event that happened here in China.
How many people do you think you're going to get in the ice at the event center? I mean, again, on floor, in addition to the stands that you have, you only can fit about 700 in there.
700, 800, something like that.
Yeah, 700, 800 people. So,
yeah.
You know, I mean, you're actually kind of basing most of your revenue coming off the pay-per-view, and it doesn't sound like the pay-per-views are the big daddies right now for them. All right, we do need to take.
We don't have that information, so I'm not going to assume.
All right, we'll find out when we get that opportunity to talk. Anyway, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to have head coach of the Denver Nuggets, Mike Malone, his press conference. Again, his Nuggets half game behind the Warriors as we are winding down.
Well, he discusses at least playoff. At least berth. So, again, talking about how special that is for the Nuggets.
There was a highlight, too, real quick before we go to the break. A highlight of LeBron James taking a pass the other night and getting the pass just over half court, never put the ball on the floor, went all the way with it, and they gave him the bucket.
Whatever.
He did a little fake job like he put the ball on the floor, but I got that video. You'll laugh.
Anyways.
It is hilarious. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with Mike Malone, head coach of the Denver Nuggets, after these words.
Hello, this is Pastor Nathaniel Ensley with Blessed Hope Baptist Church in Burns, Wyoming, and I would like to invite you to listen to our weekly broadcast entitled Hope for Today, right here on 1480 KRAE, every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Our goal during each broadcast is to bring you a simple and short Bible truth that will be a help to you. Sure hope you can tune in. God bless you.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned, full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy, we'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
It's said that membership has its rewards, and at First Education Federal Credit Union, that is especially true. At First Education, members are the owners and get lower loan rates, higher yields on deposits, full online services including a mobile app, and more. We are personalized banking your way, local and a member of the Cheyenne community since 1947. Call 432-7400, go to firstedfcu.com sportstalk.com or visit in person at 120 West Carlson Street. Membership eligibility required, federally insured by NCUA.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Cheyenne Urological has been the cornerstone of urinary care to Cheyenne and its surrounding communities for over 20 years, with doctors Bryant, Everett, Gajewski, and their highly trained staff providing top-quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. Cheyenne Urological is now offering cutting-edge robotic surgery. So call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131 for compassionate, expert urinary care. That's 635-4131.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 52 and winds out of the northwest at 10 to 15. And for tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 26. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 52. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 28.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on the show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Let's start right at the top. You guys are in the playoffs again. What does it mean to clinch and finally get back to the postseason?
Oh, it's a great feeling. 4 years in the making, 2 years in a row coming up just shy, one game short. Using that as a motivation for tonight's moment. So happy for all of our guys. Put a lot of time and work into this, but we still have a lot of work to do. We're not satisfied with just making the playoffs. I think we realized early on in this season we had a chance to be a special team, and that remains the case. So, let's continue to fight, try to win as many games as we can, and see where we wind up.
What went into tonight's victory over Boston?
Great defense. Yeah, you look at the numbers, 41 from the field. And only 31 from the three-point line. And we turned it over a lot in that second half, tried to give it back to them a few times, but guys stepped up and made big plays. Nicole hitting threes, and I thought Torrey Craig's energy, effort, and productivity off the bench was really instrumental in the win tonight.
There was an 11-0 run between at the end of the third and then into the fourth. Just how instrumental was that in terms of getting the game back under control? Yeah,
it's a game of runs, and they kind of had their run, and the way we answered that and countered that was really important as we went into that fourth quarter. And tie game going into the fourth. Gary Harris says, "Win the fourth, we win the game." That's really deep thoughts by Gary Harris. But it's a hell of a win. This is not an easy place to come in and get a win, and that's a good basketball team over there with a lot of talent. So it's great to clinch and know that we're in, but let's enjoy the moment and then turn the table and get ready for Washington.
It's not often. Go ahead, Tim. Given how close you were the last couple of years, is there any added significance to doing this against a team like Boston and winning winning against a playoff level opponent? Yeah,
and I think so. Obviously, I think every great player, every great team goes through that journey of, the failure kind of drives you and motivates you, and that's what we've used all off season into this season. And whether it's beating a team like Boston, Golden State, whoever, Toronto, we think we've played some of the best teams in the NBA and not only beaten them, but played really well in those games. So it gives you confidence moving forward, and we love where we're at, and excited for these next 13 games to see if we can get home court advantage and see what tomorrow brings.
It's not often you can have a 5-point swing in about 7 seconds. Torrey hits the three. You guys send in Jared to pressure the ball. They turn it over, and then you get the dunk. Can you just kind of go through that sequence and just how that all came together? Yeah, obviously Brad takes the timeout with 1.1 seconds left, trying to get some type of a touchdown play down the floor. I wanted to put size on the ball, so they just couldn't throw a pinpoint pass. So Jared, I think his pressure forces Morris to throw an errant ball. So we take it out of bounds, put Nicola back in, and Torrey Craig on his own makes a hell of a back cut. And, that's where Torrey's productivity, his defense, his offense was really big in this win tonight. So taking that
momentum into the fourth, and we kind of took that and ran with it to start that fourth quarter. So, great job of closing quarters, something we always preach.
You shorten the rotation, but all these guys have to stay ready. And here he is as the 9th guy coming in tonight after a couple DNPs, a shoulder injury. What can you just say about the way that he has stayed ready in that?
Well, he's a pro, and obviously I think he understands, as a 27-year-old second-year player in the NBA, his job is to stay ready. And every time he's been called upon in 2 years, he's always done that, Nick, and that's why I have trust in Torrey Craig. I played IT in the first half. We were really small, they were really big, and that didn't go very well for us. Second half, obviously, I want to put more size out there, and so whether Torrey was playing 3 or the 4, he went out there and did his job. So Torrey Craig is a pro, and that's why I'm so proud of him.
You talked about Isaiah being out there in the first half. Even though there was a lot of talk about that leading up to this game, you guys did not allow that to be a distraction or something that would affect the team. Speak to what that meant for your team to not allow something on the outside to affect what happened between the lines.
Yeah, we preach no distractions all year long. We've had so many injuries. We never use that as an excuse. And I give Isaiah a lot of credit because he did not take himself from the team. When I told him he was going to be out of the rotation, I also challenged him. I need you to be a leader. I need you to be a team player. And he has done all that and then some. And so I think it speaks to our team, how selfless we are, the culture that we have. And I also think it speaks to Isaiah's, he's inside, he's burning because he's a competitor. He's got pride, but he's also putting the team in front of his own personal struggles, if you will. And that says a lot about him as a young man. So proud of him, proud of our team, and we've done that all year long. We've never dwelled on the negative. We always find solutions. We find ways to stay together and push forward.
It also speaks to the relationship that you and him have, that he's comfortable enough to take being out of rotation and not be bitter or anything like that about towards you or the team.
Yeah, listen, I'm not Isaiah's probably #1 fan right now. He's pissed off, and I'm okay with that. I really am, because I know it's not personal. It's about Isaiah being who he is. And as I told him a couple of times, including tonight, I love you. And when this is over, my hope is that you'll look back and say, it was never personal. I'm just trying to do what's best for our team. And it's never about any individual. And I'm thankful he's here. Even when he's not playing, he's had a huge impact on our group. And I'm so appreciative of that.
There's no point in doing this unless you enjoy it, unless you celebrate it. How will you guys sort of relish this making the postseason?
Oh, it's party time, man. It's party time. No, you know what? I told the guys after, we should feel good about this. I think life is about celebrating moments. And I learned that from my mother and father. So if you don't celebrate it, we've worked so hard. But it's a fine line, Mike. You can celebrate it, enjoy the moment, but then, okay, turn the page. 13 games to go. Got to go into Washington now and try to get another win. We're not satisfied, as I said earlier, with just being a playoff team. We're not going to just eke into the playoff. We want to go in there playing the best basketball of the season and see if we can get home court advantage. And that's a hell of a challenge for us, but, why not us? And I think these guys believe in that, and I look forward to that challenge.
Coach, what about for you? This is obviously you've coached. This is the first team you've head coached into the postseason. What does this just mean for you and your journey?
I say credit to the staff, credit to our players, training staff, security guards, everybody. You've been around us, Demps. We're a very close group. And 4 years in, Tim Conley, Josh Kroenke, Arturis, all those guys that have been so patient. And that's what you appreciate when you come to work every day and work with good people who share a common vision and a common dream and have the patience to see it through. That's so powerful. So it's not about me, it's about those players.
KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today, which will feature Aaron Rath, the voice of the UNC Bears women's basketball team. Join us here in just a few moments. We do want to thank all our fine sponsors, Taco John's of Cheyenne, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30, your home for Jayco RVs, fifth wheels, travel trailers, Chick-fil-A at the corner, Windmill and Delrange with 2 convenient drive-thrus, serving up 3 square meals Monday through Saturday directly across from Menards. Chick-fil-A of Cheyenne. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way celebrating their 14th anniversary. Congratulations to Kia of Cheyenne here in Cheyenne. Greg and A.J. Miller and the entire crew invite you to come on by and check out what's cooking right now at Kia of Cheyenne. Platte Valley Bank ×2, the original location over on Banda High, and of course the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. Medicamp Pharmacy. For all your pharmaceutical needs with your doctor's prescription, see Gene and the gang over on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body, the main auto and truck repair center over on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Directly across the street, you'll find Mondello's Pizzeria in the Greenway Commons at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D. Delicious Paisan cuisine served up 7 days a week and always fresh, always delicious. Mars Plumbing Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue, and we get the program underway with our scoreboard each hour, and it's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
NHL action for tonight. Buffalo Sabres at home. They will take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. You will also see the Tampa Bay Lightning take on the Washington Capitals at the Capital One Arena there in Washington, D.C. That will be on NBC Sports Network. Vancouver Canucks at home. They will take on the Ottawa Senators. And last but not least, the Winnipeg Jets travel to Honda Center to the Pond. They'll see the Anaheim Ducks. That also, too, will be on NBC Sports Network. And that's what's happening NHL action for tonight.
On the NBA slate, the Bucks will visit the Cavaliers in the Quicken Loans Arena. Pelicans and the Magic in the Amway Center in Orlando. Celtics and the 76ers in the Wells Fargo Center. Jazz and Knicks at Madison Square Garden in the Mecca. It's the Wizards and the Bulls in the United Center at the FedEx Forum. Grizz and the Rockets. Heat Spurs at the AT&T Center in San Antonio. At the Chesapeake Energy Arena in OKC, the Thunder hosting the Raptors. And the late night contest will have the Trailblazers in the Moda Center entertaining the Dallas Mavericks. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000.
Websites, web streams, and digital ventures makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proetti at 307-637-0301.
MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
AJ Miller here for Kia of Cheyenne. We're starting our 14th year and still strive to put you first by making it easy for you to own a new Kia. Right now, we can help get you into a 2019 Kia Sorento comparably equipped for less than Toyota Highlander, Jeep Grand Cherokee, or Ford Edge. The 2019 Kia Sorento comes standard with power heated exterior mirrors, rear camera display, remote keyless entry, and more. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com. We'll make it easy.
Cheyenne's oldest coin dealer and supplier, the Coin Shop, is proud to serve the community since 1982. Trade or sell your gold, silver, and other precious metals. Visit with David and the knowledgeable staff for a fair and honest assessment of your valuables. Located at 510 West Lincoln Way. Call them today at 778-7196 to schedule your personal consultation.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 52 and winds out of the northwest at 10 to 15. And for tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 26. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 52. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 28.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local
display, remote keyless entry, and more. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com. We'll make it easy.
Cheyenne's oldest coin dealer and supplier, the Coin Shop, is proud to serve the community since 1982. Trade or sell your gold, silver, and other precious metals. Visit with David and the knowledgeable staff for a fair and honest assessment of your valuables. Located at 510 West Lincoln Way. Call them today at 778-7196 to schedule your personal consultation.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 52 and winds out of the northwest at 10 to 15. And for tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 26. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 52. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 28.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Perotti along with Sonny Boy Nick Perotti across the way. We bring on our special guest, Aaron Rath, who is the voice of the University of Northern Colorado Bears women's basketball program. Aaron, thanks so much for joining us all the way from Greeley, Colorado this afternoon. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on today. Luckily, we had no snow and beautiful weather, so it's a good day to join and talk about sports.
You know, let's talk some hoops. You know, it's amazing with this group of young ladies.
Game on the road against Northern Arizona, the lid was on the basket. They really struggled shooting, and then they lost in the semifinals at the Big Sky tournament, as you said, for their other loss. And that was the same thing. They really didn't shoot well, and they didn't play defense well. So I know Coach Huth is really working on that defense, stepping out and taking away the three-point line and adjusting on the shots that they're taking. I know they rely heavily on Savannah Smith to take a lot of shots, but when she's not hitting them, they've got to find other ways to get baskets.
You know, one of the things about this squad of young ladies in Greeley is, you know, they play well at home, and they're not too bad on the road, and that's very important, especially if you want to be a tournament-bound team. And, again, heading to the confines of the Arena Auditorium where the Cowgirls draw very well, it seems like your ladies are pretty battle-tested on the road.
Yeah, they're not really intimidated by playing in another environment versus their home environment. Their mindset is really, when they step between the lines, they're 5 Bears against 5 opponents. So where they're playing, it really doesn't matter. You're right. They do play very well on the road, which is in the Big Sky Conference, says a lot about them because there's a lot of tough road environments in the Big Sky. But, yeah, they're not scared when they step between the lines no matter where they're playing.
Now, these two teams do have common opponents, especially were for the preseason for UNC. They did see the likes of CSU where they were on the road at Moby. At least took care of business against the CSU Lady Rams, 53-47. Did lose at Air Force, so however, 57-69 for the Wyoming Cowgirls. They did see the Idaho Lady Vandals and a few other opponents as well. But things, at least kind of common opponents, they both know what to expect out of each other. But going back to the last matchup between these two for UW and also too for UNC, again, March 21st, 2013, it was the first round, ironically, of the WNIT where these two teams last met, where the Bears of UNC took care of business, got away with a 71-63 victory on the road there in Laramie. So is Coach, at least who trying to use that as a rallying cry of, hey, teams in the past have took care of business in the same position in the WNIT against the Wyoming Cowgirls. Let's see if we can get some little magic here this time around.
I think she'll probably talk about that a little bit, but Coach Huth is really a short history type person. She's going to look at her team and look at the Wyoming team and see where she matches up. And the history is the history, right? That game, which ironically was also on a Thursday night, the last two times the calendars lined up exactly the right days of the year. So it'll be the same year or the same day of the week on the 21st that we play against each other. But her big thing is look at the last couple games. What did they do well against Southern Utah in the quarterfinals versus what did they not do well against Eastern Washington, and kind of put those two games together. She will talk about, I'm sure, the last time these two teams played. She'll talk about last year when this team, mostly intact, played against Michigan in the NCAA tournament and fell by 14. She'll use some of those things, but you know, she's been around long enough that she knows that all these players were in high school the last two times these guys played.
Looking at least the regular season for Northern Colorado, finishing out the season 21-10, 15-5 in Big Sky Conference action. Just give us your at least opinion on this, Aronoff, for the Northern Colorado Bears this season, 21-10. Did they meet expectations? Did they exceed expectations? Or were they expected to do a little bit more this season?
Well, anytime you change coaches and you go from a top coach like Cammie Etheridge to an unknown coach like Jenny Huth, I think your expectations are kind of tempered a little bit. Now, Jenny's a great coach. I love her. She's fits this program well. I do believe that there were a few games that the Bears left things there where they feel that they should have been better. One, the loss to Air Force. Savannah Smith went down 5 minutes into the game after taking an elbow to the eye and needed 7 stitches, and they just weren't the same in that game. So I think they felt they left that one. And then in conference, there was really 3 games that they shouldn't have lost, that they just didn't play well. It was a tough road schedule this year for them. And so I think overall they wanted to do better, but I think with a new coach and a young team that they're pretty happy with how their season ended up at 21-10.
We're talking with Aaron Rath, voice of the UNC Bears women's basketball team. I'm glad you mentioned Savannah Smith, the Fort Collins, Colorado product. She earned all Big Sky honors. Tell us a little bit about this squad that will be headed over to Laramie tomorrow night. Let's get to know them. And again, it's a young team that has some key veterans, but again, some very good pieces that will be coming back for next season as well.
Yeah, so the strongest one of those, obviously, is Savannah Smith, averaging just over 23 points a game. She's got range that is pretty much anywhere. I call her Steph a lot because if she's across half court, she's in range. And she will take the shot, and she'll make half of them. She has got that kind of range. She's got an awesome step-back three-pointer, but the best thing about Savannah Smith is she's not afraid to pass the ball if she needs to. The Bears are strong on the glass with Allie Meyer, leads the conference in rebounds, averaging over 11 rebounds a game. She'll actually be the first Bear in program history to average double digits rebounds on the season. She now holds the record for most rebounds in a season. You got Abby Kine, who's starting as well, who's really played solid. She had 2 great games on the glass in Idaho, 21 rebounds in one game, 14 in another. Alexis Chapman, she's a great ball player. Her problem is she tends to get in foul trouble a little bit. So coach will do everything that she can to keep her on the floor. She shoots the ball well. She sees the floor well. And then rounding out the starting 5, it'll either be Michaela Eisenbart, the freshman out of Stratton, Colorado, really coming into her own, shoots the ball well from the outside, or Crystal Ledger-Walker, a junior, whose main purpose on the floor is to dish the ball and get everybody else involved. And then coming off the bench, you've got a couple solid players. The Bears don't go very deep, typically 7, 8, depends on the game. But those first 5, 6 are really important to the Bears and how they play.
You know, it's interesting. You mentioned the Stratton, Colorado youngster in Eisenbart, but also too with the Bears. This is a team that there in Greeley they can kind of wrap their arms around because again you got 4 products on there: Peyton, Colorado, Fort Collins, Stratton, Monument. Again, all from the Colorado where it's recognizable kids.
Yeah, it's awesome to see as the season goes on to meet the families of these kids and to see them be able to play in front of their parents. Savannah Smith's family all lives in Fort Collins, so they're at every road game too. They travel very well. So yeah, it's really cool to see the families in the crowd and get to meet them and get to know them as the voice of and hear how family listens and enjoys listening to the games.
Yeah, I can relate to that, especially with me doing all the Laramie County Community College contests up here.
Now, a question for you, Aaron, as, again, you size up the UNC Bears, and, again, this matchup coming up this Thursday, 6:30, over at the AA between the Wyoming Cowgirls and Northern Colorado Bears. Now, what is it, and, again, have to ask this question as much as it's going to hurt us, but what does UNC need to do in order to get that road victory over the Wyoming Cowgirls coming up tomorrow?
Score more points.
Yeah, score more points. But I think it really starts for the Bears on the defensive end. They've got to run the shooters for Wyoming off the three-point line. You guys shoot the ball very well, and the Bears are going to have to play solid defense. And then something that Coach Huth stresses every game, and that's cleaning the glass, getting the rebounds. Offensive rebounds are a big thing. The Bears like to shoot for a 50% offensive rebound, 50% defensive rebound ratio, and then turn those into extra points and extra chances. And then on top of that, they've really got to shoot the ball well. They've got to get over the last game where they shot 30% against Eastern Washington and shoot the ball better. So for them, really their defense turns into offense. So for me, it all starts on how well they run the Wyoming shooters from their spots and force them into tougher shots.
And, finally for me, Aaron, is that, the UNC squad, they've been to enemy gyms, LSU, BYU, again, where, a good attendance would come out and support. You look at Joe Legursky's UW Cowgirls. I mean, they draw close to 3,000 a game. I would venture to say I wouldn't be shocked to say that 5,000 would be in attendance. How does Coach Huth kind of get the young ladies to focus? Because, again, coming into an enemy gym, great support for women's basketball over in Laramie. Again, how do you kind of get that excitement or being too over amped up to be playing tomorrow night? How does Coach Huth keep them on that right track?
Well, I think there's 2 ways that she does it. The first one is she relies on the leadership on the floor, right? Savannah Smith and Allie Meyer, the 2 seniors on the floor, and then you've got people like Crystal Ledger-Walker who've been there before and understand as a junior. So she relies on the leadership of the team. But then, Jenny's been there. She played at CU. She played semi-pro basketball. And then she relies on Carrie Corver, one of her assistant coaches, played college basketball at the high level, went on and played in the European League at a high level. So they've been there, done that, got that T-shirt. They understand the types of things that players go through. Versus a coach, there's a lot of coaches out there that didn't play at those levels. And so playing and coaching in front of that environment are 2 different things. And so the fact that they've played at that level, they understand what the players are going through. And I think they use a lot of their experience to just kind of help them understand, look, this is a game. It's 40 minutes between the lines. Step in there and do everything we've taught you, and things will turn out the way they should.
All right, Aaron, thanks so much. Have a great call tomorrow evening, and we do appreciate you joining us here today on Wyoming Sports Talk today.
All right. Well, thanks for letting me call in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night.
All right, sounds good. Aaron Rath, voice of the UNC Bears women's basketball team against the Cowgirls tomorrow night, 7:30 tap time from the AA, right?
I thought it was 6:30.
Is it 6:30? Am I reading it wrong again? Okay, well, 6:30 tap time.
Let me go through my notes really quickly. Yeah, it's 6:30.
Okay, 6:30.
I don't know where you got 7:30 at, but it's 6:30.
I was on the Central Time Zone. My bad.
Whatever. Either way, 6:30 there again tomorrow. Wyoming Cowgirls, UNC Bears, first round of the WNIT. Again, rematch of 2013.
Weather's going to be great for traveling?
I think possible rain showers. I don't know. Yeah, it's nothing new out here. But, again, should be good weather so far. So, again, no reason not to make it out to AA and go cheer on, again, first round action of the WNIT. Again, Wyoming Cowgirls, UNC Bears, rematch of 2013. Cowgirls looking for a little bit of revenge.
6 years ago, we're talking, Nick. It's not,
yeah, but people
not
still
a
remember
revenge tour. This thing is toast.
Well, guess what? Joe Legursky was a part of that team, so it might just be a little revenge on his.
All we're saying is the Cowgirls looking for win number 23, and hopefully it'll come at the expense of the UNC Women's Bears team tomorrow. All right, we're going to take a timeout. Be back with more after these words here in 1480 KRAE.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Check out these super buys, heard only right here. Jameson Irish Whiskey, 750 milliliter bottle, $15.99. Left Hand Mountain Mixer, 12-pack of 12-ounce bottles, $14.29. And Pendleton Canadian Whiskey, 750 milliliter bottle, $16.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is lumber one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Brody inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480KRAE.com.
Winter driving in Wyoming. Are you prepared? Winter storms strike quickly across Wyoming's high plains and the mountains. When they do, driving conditions can deteriorate rapidly and become very challenging. Make sure your vehicle is ready for the elements and you have an emergency preparedness kit available. Driving on slick roads, always remember slower speed, acceleration, steering, and braking. Also turn off the cruise control and always buckle up. Ice and snow. Take it slow. Know before you go. For travel info, call 511 or online at wyoroad.info. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on the Wyoming Sports Talk today. Speaking of hoops, and Nick has been working our friends over in Laramie, trying to catch up with athletic director Tom Berman. We just missed out on him. He's traveling, right? He's going off to
wrestling championship. So apparently he's leaving today. So we'll hopefully talk with him next week. And then also, too, did put out the word to talk with head coach Alan Edwards as well, too, to see if we can get his thoughts on everything of what happened this past season and also, too, his thoughts on what AD Tom Berman had to say for next season. But unfortunately, he's on the recruiting trail, so at least he is to be determined of. Hopefully, we will talk to him possibly this week, if not next week as well, too. So we'll see about that. But, again, we have put out the word to those entities over there at the University of Wyoming to get all the information from them.
Did you know that Major League Baseball is underway?
Yep. You apparently didn't.
I thought it was today. I thought, that's what, because I knew they were in Japan.
Yeah,
I don't like this.
I think it's cool.
It's a 3-game
I have
series.
no issue with it. Again, what we're talking about, the Japan series between the Seattle Mariners and the Oakland A's underway. Again, that is starting the MLB season. And again, those are official games, not exhibitions, but again, official games that are happening over there in the Tokyo Dome.
So they'll play today. They played yesterday, today, tomorrow. Then they're going to fly back, get a couple days to get their legs underneath them. From
that's why they're starting it out early again. Yeah, because again, a long flight, get them all at least kind of rested, and then back into
get rid of the jet lag, so to speak.
Yeah, so, and also, too, it is a good kind of thing, especially with the Seattle Mariners, with Ichiro right now, what they've been doing, again, giving him a little bit of
farewell tour.
Yeah, again, especially there in his home country. So, at least nice seeing of what the Seattle Mariners did in the game yesterday, basically pulling them in, and then the fans at least getting loud and proud, assuming that they're going to do it again for the game coming up. So, but this international series, especially where we saw another international series last year, I think they do it. They did it as well this season, if I'm correct. Where again, Colorado, at least Rockies, were down in Mexico City against the Arizona Diamondbacks. They've done series out in Australia, where that saw the Arizona Diamondbacks take on the LA Dodgers. Again, nice. I have no issue with the international flair. Again, where it's trying to, kind of like what NFL does, going over to Europe, or at least going over to England and showcasing off of those games there, where they're trying to, again, quote unquote, trying to get a England, at least NFL team. We'll see if that happens. All indications are showing that it is, but it's getting MLB a global brand. If not, it already feels like it is. Again, baseball is kind of growing out again, where Japan loves baseball. We know that. And I wouldn't doubt that they know pretty well of MLB. Again, obviously, they probably follow a lot of the, at least players, again, whether it's Itomi or, again, Ichiro, whoever it might be in the MLB ranks. But Australia, Mexico, it's especially with the World Baseball Classic, where you do have those international teams representing from at least around the globe. I have no issue with these international series. I do for the fact that I don't think they had enough spring training games. Again, I don't think pitchers are ready, because when you get to, Ichiro's 45, and he's done spring training how many years? I think he's ready to play baseball.
Again, I'm still looking at pitchers. Ichiro's not a pitcher. And most of these pitchers have gone, for your first couple of starts in spring training, you go a couple innings, then you bump it up to 3. I don't think guys on either staff right now are ready for 4 or 5 innings. I think they still need a couple more tune-up games in spring training before the opening day. That's just my opinion. And I think
that's your opinion. Have we heard from the Players Association? Have we heard anyone outcry about this? It's detrimental to my player or my health or anything like that? No one's come out and said anything about it.
No one's going to whine about that. It just gets the season done quicker for these guys. That's all it does. They get a head start on the 162 game season.
But it's a nice thing as well too for these players, where again you get to go play in those international areas.
I'm not knocking that. I'm just
seeing a different venue. I think it's a good thing that MLB is doing to make it a global brand, and again give that opportunity to those fans, make those growing fan bases international again in those respective countries. Again, spring training, it is what it is. I have my thoughts on it. It's kind of like the NFL preseason. Is it really necessary?
Yes, it is. You just don't throw guys out in the outfield. You don't throw guys up at the plate, and you don't throw pitchers on the mound. You got to have some practice time, and these are practice games. And you're playing against other teams. You're not playing against yourself. So, they're professionals.
They know what to expect. And again, of a warm-up game, competing with that. With me, yes, maybe get a few games, but again, a full month. Do we need at least minimum 5 starts for a Madison Bumgarner to go?
Absolutely.
Okay, you're good.
Absolutely.
I think he knows. I think he's ready. I think he knows how to play baseball. I think he knows how to pitch. I think he's warmed up, if not done more stuff pre at least pitchers and catchers reporting. I think, again, a workhorse like that, I think he has an off-season regiment. He knows what to do. He knows, again, this is a guy who's won World Series. He's one of the top pitchers in MLB, along with the others around the league. They know what they're doing. And a full month of spring training, and do the Oakland A's and that pitching staff, do the Seattle Mariners and that pitching staff, again, with one King Felix out there, do you think they feel shortchanged that they missed out on some spring training games because they're playing in this Japan series over in the Tokyo Dome? I highly doubt it. I really and honestly doubt it. I doubt that they're, again, if you take a poll of all those players, oh no, I'm upset that I missed out on a few spring training starts. I don't think they care. I think they're excited just to play baseball and get at least where it matters now, even if it is starting a little early.
You and me agree to disagree, so we'll leave it at that. Anyway, so the A's and the Mariners, by the way, the M's won yesterday 9-7 in the Tokyo Dome. Speaking of baseball, and I was reading a little bit of his farewell. He left the friendly confines of Scottsdale and moved over to Goodyear, Arizona. That would be Carlos Gonzalez.
Finally.
After 10 seasons with the Rocks, the 33-year-old Cargo has signed on with the Indians.
I've been calling it for years that it finally happened where, yes, he was, again, not ironically where I thought he was going to land last season, he does here in the spring, at least in spring training. So Cargo, again, the long term, again, one I would say a beloved Rocky. Is he Rocky Hall of Fame worthy? Probably not.
Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm talking Rockies. Like if again,
retiring
a number, that number 5 is that worthy? I don't think so. But he is certainly a fan favorite out there in Denver. Again with the Colorado Rockies. But the at least 10 years of the time, at least all the memories with Cargo and the Colorado Rockies uniform is now over as he'll move over with the Cleveland Indians, and I'm assuming probably going to just sit in that DH role as I anticipated he was going to be.
Actually, I think he's going to be in the outfield because Brantley decided not to resign with the Indians.
That's true.
So right now,
we'll see what
he
the
signed the minor league deal. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's a 1-year deal. Not too bad for $2 million.
Well, again, he's signing these 1-year deals every single time.
And if he makes
the 1 year with Colorado,
it was $5 million last year. But this one is a rather inexpensive one. It's 1 year. $2 million and making the big squad, because again it's a minor league contract, makes the big squad. He makes can make $1 million more in bonuses, I guess. But looking at his stats throughout his career, again he's got
the stats have kind of tailed downwards. At least as he's gotten aged.
He's got a career batting average of 287. I mean that's not bad. He's hit career 231 home runs. So
numbers again, you look with hits and everything else for Cargo, not Hall of Fame worthy, not at all,
not even.
But again, a solid player, good player, but nothing where do we stop and say yes, he's a bound Hall of Famer? No, not really. But again, good utility player, good at least entity for the Cleveland Indians now to use. Does it elevate the Indians? Granted, I think Cleveland's pretty much a lock still in the Central. Maybe you have to take a look at the Minnesota Twins, but does it elevate the Cleveland Indians signing Cargo? Maybe it moves the needle a hair, but nothing that
it gives
major.
them left-handed power, over there in Cleveland. So, and again, Michael Brantley was an all-star, so they decided not to re-sign him. He's 33, and you're right. He can be platooned to play outfield as well as DH.
I would think, again, of my theory of where I thought he was going to land with Cleveland last year was just more so just be that DH role, that added power there for the Indians. And again, still could be a possibility. We'll see what Cleveland does with him. I think for Cleveland, they're certainly going to have to keep an eye close on the Minnesota Twins out there in the Central, but the rest to be determined with the White Sox. Who knows, again, who made a lot of moves. I still think they're years from getting there. Tigers are completely kind of awful. And then the Kansas City Royals, they're still years away from even being in contention out there in the AL Central. It's pretty much a two-dog fight between the Indians and the Minnesota Twins. So is it something that, again, it's just added bonus for the Indians right now to try and solidify that AL Central title once again for them?
Yeah, and with the addition of Cargo, he's still young enough 33. Again, I still think he's in his prime. So he's still young enough, and he can still patrol the outfield. So I'm sure Cleveland will get. He'll be on the big league roster. There's no doubt about it.
Eventually,
and well, once he gets into playing shape here, which will probably take him a couple of weeks to get ready.
Yeah.
And
I'm just saying, I don't anticipate
training.
I'm just saying, I don't anticipate him out there opening day for Cleveland.
I think he'll be up with the big squad by then. I really believe he will be there.
We'll see.
But again, I think it's a good addition to the Cleveland Indians. Will it give them a World Series championship? Probably not. I think again, you got the Yankees. You got the Yankees, Boston, and Houston. 3 top teams still that you're going to have to contend with in the AL.
We'll get in all to that of our picks of, again, division winners along with who will be the World Series champion. About next week is when we'll decide all of that. But
your buddy won't like this.
What?
Chris, Southpaw Clayton Kershaw won't be ready for opening day after all.
And that was the assumption with the LA Dodgers, is that he wasn't going to be and that they were going to have to kind of maneuver pieces. Again, the Dodgers have enough starting pitchers, have enough weapons that they can deal without Clayton Kershaw. They've done it before, and they've managed before. They can do it again.
It's interesting with Kershaw. Again, he's got shoulder inflammation.
Yeah.
The guy's 31 years old. He hasn't had a healthy season in the last, 6 years?
A long time, yeah. He's missed a lot of time.
And it's usually lower back problems. Now with his shoulder inflammation, this has been his bugaboo all throughout spring training.
Yeah, that's not a good sign where it doesn't mean potential surgery. I mean,
no. But he hasn't pitched in a Cactus League game.
But I'm just saying, could it be more than meets the eye for Clayton Kershaw coming up again, where he has run into a lot of injuries? Is it with the continuation of the injuries, is it something that the Dodgers have to look internally for next season, or at least to kind of realize is it time to move on with Clayton Kershaw? Granted, he is still, I would still say, even with him being injured and dealing with all this stuff, still one of the best pitchers in MLB.
So to go back to what you said about spring training, he has yet to throw in a Cactus League game. So he has not faced any live opposing players yet.
All right.
He's been throwing, however, completing a bullpen session. So he's a veteran. He's been there, did it, done it. Do you trot him out on the mound right away when he says, hey, my shoulder feels good?
I think what would be the best move for him is move him down to at least a AAA club and let him just kind of compete down there, then bring him up to at least the big.
So you're saying he needs some spring training?
Not necessarily. If you're trying to trap me right now, good on you. But
that would be an extended spring. He needs an extended spring training.
I really don't think so, though. I don't. Again, without knowing or at least seeing how it, at least for Clayton Kershaw, if these spring training games, does he really need it? Again, who knows at this point? He knows. He's a pitcher. He knows what to expect. If anything, it would be to just make sure that, the curve's still there. The fastball's still on pace. Just trying to figure out, okay, my stuff can still fool hitters or if I need to make alterations. But I still think the guy knows what he's doing. Okay. He's been doing it for however long. He's one of the best pitchers in all of MLB. Also, does he need that? I would say I would lean more to the side of saying no.
All right. Also, not
Thanks
pitching.
for the commentary.
No, I'm going to disagree with you because you don't know what spring training is all about.
You don't either.
Yeah, I do know what spring training is.
Yeah.
Been there, did it, done it. Also, Walker Buehler has had a sore shoulder, and he was scheduled to make his first Cactus League appearance yesterday. He was slated to throw 3 innings against the Indians. It looks like it's going to be southpaw Rich Hill to get the opening day call. So you got 2 of your key starters right now for the Dodgers.
All right.
That could be shelved. I guess Buehler will probably be ready to get the, take the ball for the Dodgers, but he's going to be on a very short leash when they get the season going. But here's the deal. Like last year, the rest of the West, whether it's the Rockies, whether it's the Giants, Padres, or Diamondbacks, you got to go out there right away, and you got to win. I think the Rockies open the season against Miami. You got to get out there, and you got to put the Dodgers 7-8 games off the pace right out of the get-go because, you got a couple guys.
You can do that, but that's good in theory. But with the Dodgers, we've seen them where they can climb back up. Guess what happened last year? they eventually came back and still won.
Yeah, they all got healthy, yeah.
Yeah, they eventually came back and still won that NL West. Again, in that tiebreaker game there in Los Angeles over the at least Colorado Rockies. I don't. That's good in theory, but this is still a formidable outfit there in the NL West where they can overcome that deficit. Is it something where, yes, it's fine and dandy that you come out strong, but the Dodgers, even with missing 2 key pitchers, they've been through this before. They know how to overcome. This team who was without big names last year, again, you were missing Turner. Everyone was thinking that the Dodgers, that this was it. The season was over. Or how were we going to make up for Turner being gone? Well, they did. Well, they still moved on. They were still your West Division champion.
Right.
And at this point in time, yes, for those teams, you do need to take advantage. Not so much for the Rockies. I think the Rockies can get by if they have a few slip-ups here early on. I think the Rockies are talented enough. They're set enough where through the regular season they can overcome slip-ups. They did last year. How many games did we see, or at least kind of point out of they were struggling against lower-tier teams, or they were struggling series against San Diego when they shouldn't have. They were losing vital games at home, but they still made it to the wild card. Still had a chance at the NL West title. I wouldn't say that the Rockies is it a must that they need to come out strong to take care of business. I think they'll beat Miami. I think they should sweep that series. Miami's a joke. But if they slip up there, I think the Rockies have enough in their tank where they can overcome and at least take care of business down the line to at least upend that early season kind of trip-ups. I think it matters more so for Arizona. I think it matters more so for the San Francisco Giants. And if the San Diego Padres want to do anything, I think it matters for those 3 teams where they need those hot starts because later in the season, they might not have enough gas or at least weapons and tools to at least take advantage or at least try to even out if they are having slow starts to this season.
Okay.
I don't think so.
And before we go to the break here, the Cincinnati Reds, first African-American player, died at the age of 94. Team says Charles Chuck Harmon died Tuesday, nearly 65 years after he made his debut against the Braves in Milwaukee, April 17, 1954. It took the Reds, how many years? 7 years to break their color barrier? So the team did not provide details on the death of Harmon. So Harmon remained a familiar figure in Cincinnati as a regular participant in fan and community events. Among his Red honors is a bronze plaque near the stadium entrance. So again, Chuck Harmon passing away at the age of 94. That's a pretty good life. We are going to take a time out, come back. We got more after these words right here on 1480 KRAE.
Hop into the KRAE Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 KRAE, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480krae.com.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Are you tired of paying ATM fees? Hi, this is Rick Flood, president of Platte Valley Bank in Cheyenne. Use your Platte Valley Bank ATM or Visa debit card at any ATM anywhere. We won't charge you a fee on our end, and we'll reimburse any fee you incur at any other ATM. That's right, no ATM fees at Platte Valley Bank. How about that? Platte Valley Bank, 3310 North College Drive and 421 Vanda High Avenue, or pvbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Community banking for you.
In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC. Emergencies can happen anytime, and Mars Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, available 24/7, is here to take care of them in the quickest possible manner. Mars Plumbing and Heating provides the highest quality service for all your plumbing and heating needs. So if you need bathroom remodeling or a commercial heating contractor for your latest building project, Mars Plumbing and Heating will provide you with the most dependable service at a reasonable price. You can always count on Mars Plumbing and Heating. Give them a call at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 52, winds out of the northwest at 10 to 15. And for tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 26. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 52. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 28.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ball game. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Sports Talk today. You know, we didn't talk about this, a couple of things. First off, the draft coming up at the end of April for the National Football League. I mean,
we've talked plenty about the draft.
But it's in Nashville, Tennessee.
So, as they're
CeCe Winans is going to do the national anthem. Tim McGraw is going to have a concert. What is it? I mean, I didn't know they have a halftime show now during the draft.
Well, it's a fan experience at this point where, again, they moved it from New York City where, you know, it was in Dallas, it was in Chicago, now in Nashville. It is trying to make it as a fan experience. And again, it is, yes, it is for the teams, but also, too, it is for the fans to see who is going to be joining those teams. So, hey, I have no issue with it. Good on the NFL to make it that fan experience, make it more fan-friendly. I have no issue with it. Again, as they're trying to make it across, I'm assuming, Denver, Oakland, no longer Oakland, but Vegas, maybe San Francisco, Houston, maybe they go to Boston. I wouldn't be surprised that they try to hit all, NFL spots or at least city spots to bring the draft somewhere. So I think it's cool. It's kind of that road. It's that road tour of letting everyone have a chance instead of having to track out.
Keep it in New York.
New York again, where you got to deal with expenses to get out there. No, instead, let's bring it to your backyard so you can experience it as well too. I have no issue with it. I think it's fine.
Well, so anyway, so Tim McGraw will provide the halftime. No, I mean, I guess he's just having a concert there while they're doing the draft. The New York Jets have added a backup quarterback for Sam Darnold. Hey, a familiar name.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Siemian.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, guess who's going to become a journeyman quarterback in the National Football League? One Trevor Siemian. He signed a one-year deal, $2 million to be the backup behind Sam Darnold. Has a maximum value of $3 million with incentives. Josh McCown got the boot. You know, one trade we didn't talk about, and yesterday because we ran out of time. And speaking of time, tomorrow only going to do an hour show because Nick and myself will be heading over to the Arena Auditorium to catch that first round of the women's NIT.
Which we recommend the most of you as well too.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, 6:30 tap time.
Again, ticket sales as well too quickly for the Wyoming Cowgirls online, gowyo.com, or you can buy them there at the Arena Auditorium to at least see the first round contest coming up tomorrow night at 6:30.
So anyway, going back to football now. Never got your thoughts on the Odell Beckham trade to Cleveland. What your thoughts on that?
Very surprising of where Cleveland was the last place everyone expected OBJ to move to. Again, there were thoughts that he was going to head out to the Bay Area, whether it was to at least accompany AB or either head over to the San Francisco 49ers. But good on Cleveland, though. Cleveland trying to help out situations out there, again, elevate that offense where Cleveland did improve on. They are a team that was kind of on a fringe to make it to the playoffs. This, though, it vastly improves the Cleveland Browns. They are, right now, I think the Browns, as you look in that NFC North, you have to put them as the favorites right now to win that, at least North.
So basically, they're telling their fans, we're going to win now.
We're competitive, that we're ready right now to go on and win. And I think right now with that signing and what the Browns have been doing, Steelers, again, they took a step back, clearly. They lost one of their talented wide receivers, losing Le'Veon Bell.
Was he more of a cancer, though, than anything?
You got to respect his numbers, though. He was one of the top wide receivers in all of the NFL, so you lost that piece. Granted, he was not there, but the Pittsburgh Steelers, though, kind of standing pat, were the Cleveland Browns, at least with adding OBJ. Now, I think you have to put them – they're not the favorites to win the Super Bowl, clearly, but you do have to put them, though.
They do have some pieces in place now.
They do have pieces in place, and they are a respectable outfit right now where, yes, I would say – I would be happy to say, yeah, Cleveland has a legitimate shot right now to win the NFC North. Baltimore, they might be knocking. Pittsburgh, I don't disrespect.
Cincinnati's still a mess.
Yeah, the Bengals are awful.
Baltimore, as you mentioned, with Lamar Jackson, they could be playoff bound. Pittsburgh with Roethlisberger at the helm.
I mean, Baltimore got it done last year, especially with Lamar Jackson. They still can, but that might be a fun division to kind of take an eye on. Again, you eliminate Cincinnati. I don't think the Bengals are doing squat, but with Pittsburgh, again, they kind of stand pat. They did lose their pieces, but those pieces didn't really play for them. So it's kind of, Pittsburgh still knows how to get it done. Baltimore, they made it in. They can do it with their pieces. And now Cleveland adding OBJ, where I think even now with Vegas respecting that, I think Cleveland right now is the fifth best team, or at least it has the fifth best odds to win the Super Bowl.
Does OBJ fit in at Cleveland? That's the question.
I think so. I think he fits in wherever he would be traded to, or, again, whatever team he is playing for. I think OBJ is a team player.
Well, I think you get him out of New York. That's the first and foremost thing, because that's where he was a clown. I think you get him into, again, Cleveland's not a media mecca.
I mean, a clown to the point where he brought a Super Bowl title.
But he
did that for the Giants.
Yeah, but, his last couple of seasons, he's been, and then also being hurt.
Well, the last couple of seasons have been an enigma for the Giants, where they've been just awful overall.
And he was a clown more than anything.
But for Baker Mayfield, it is a great target for him.
He's got some good targets to throw to now.
He does, and that could be a formidable offense, and that defense has been working. If all things are firing on all cylinders out there in Cleveland, that is definitely a team to keep a close eye on, of where they could do something special this season. I don't think they're at Super Bowl title contention yet.
Could be a wild card team.
I give them respect I say that the Cleveland Browns could be, I'm not going to say it is a guarantee, but could be NFC North, or at least AFC North champions. I think they could. I think that
knocking on the door.
I think that move, though, of picking up OBJ got them that. It vaulted them to that point where I have to step back and go and think about it. Right. Go, yeah, I'll give you respect.
And finally, here as we get ready to wrap things up, if we thought the Denver Broncos offensive line was mediocre at best,
it was awful.
Well, it got even worse because Matt Paradis signed on a 3-year deal. He was a free agent, by the way.
Yep.
Signed a 3-year deal with the Carolina Panthers for $27 million.
Is that a good thing, however, though?
I mean, this guy basically was so beat up, but he still snapped the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, this guy, he'll play on one leg for you.
The Broncos at this point in time, they're in a world of hurt. Broncos, let's be honest, fans, if you are a fan of the Denver Broncos, this isn't going to be your season as well. Denver is not competing with Kansas City. They're not going to compete with – I think this could be a legitimate possibility, especially the moves that Oakland has been doing. The Raiders have kind of bought in of saying, hey, maybe it is that philosophy out there for the Oakland Raiders of saying, hey, this is our final time in Oakland. They will be at the Coliseum. That has now been official, that they will spend the last season there at the Coliseum. So that is all that's at least figured out. It sounds like Oakland has bought in, kind of like the Cleveland Browns of going, look at all these names. We've been aggressive here in the offseason, and they have been, clearly. That could the Oakland Raiders kind of make moves in the AFC
West? And they got
West.
3 first-round draft picks, too, that they could parlay into other players
but
as well.
Denver at this point, they're not vaulting Kansas City. I don't think they're better than Oakland at this point. Who knows what the Chargers, but the Chargers had a fantastic.
Chargers and the Broncos have been kind of quiet during the free agent now.
But we saw what happened with L.A. with the Chargers last season, where they're a solid team.
And if you
still
think Joe Flacco is the cure-all, be-all, it's not going to happen for Denver.
I think it's a legitimate possibility that we can see that the Denver Broncos are going to be dead last in the AFC West. It's going to be probably worse than what it was last season.
Flacco is going to be running for his life, and he's not a runner.
No.
The offensive
He does not like the move. He does not like the move.
Losing to Matt Paradis, that is huge for the Denver Broncos as far as I'm concerned.
For the Broncos, let's be honest, for the 2019 season, it's a wash. And even here it is, March 20th, 2019. We're months away, 5 months away from even getting close to NFL talk, even preseason. I'm happy to say and write off the Denver Broncos at this point in time. They are not playoff bound. They're not competing in the AFC West. How this team is set right now.
Well, you blame Vance Joseph for 2 seasons, I guess. Now
no,
you can
I don't blame. You don't blame
I'm not
Vance
talking to you. I'm saying you blame Vance Joseph for the
I'm
last
saying,
2 seasons.
No, I don't.
Vic Fangio's your next blame.
No. You do not blame Vance Joseph. I don't think it was his fault. I think, again, the guy that deserves all the blame at this point is the guy who's still running things. That'd be John Elway. He needs to go. He needs to go at this point in time. He does not deserve to be a GM of the Denver Broncos right now.
All right, we got to wrap things up here. We want to remind you, Sherlock Holmes ×2 from 8 until 9 tonight and from 9 until 10 at Suspense Theater. That is our Golden Age of Radio Theater, the best of the 50s and 60s, forthcoming here in about a minute or so. Nick Proetti wraps up the program with On This Date in History.
March 20th, 1973. This player was elected into the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to give you the sports, but 1973, something happened regarding this player, and league decided to put him in the Hall of Fame because of it. March 20th, 1973.
That would have to be Roberto Clemente, who died on a mission to, I think it was his home state of, was it Nicaragua, if I'm not mistaken? I can't remember.
I don't have those details.
But anyway,
either way, though,
humanitarian mission, when his plane crashed, and he didn't even get a chance to wrap up his career.
Yeah, 1973, Roberto Clemente elected to the MLB Hall of Fame 11 weeks after his death in a plane crash on this date. So.